This is a 2008 Ford F450 that's currently powered by a 6.4 liter V8 diesel, built originally by Navistar. I say currently because it's suffering some problems. Over here, I have a 2006 Dodge Ram 2500 that came equipped with the Cummins 5.9 liter inline 6-cylinder turbo diesel. The motor from that Dodge Ram is coming out of there and replacing the engine in the Ford to create the Fummins project. So some of you might be wondering, why? Why would you put a Cummins engine into a Ford when it wasn't meant to be there? Well, we decided that fixing the Ford engine was less fun than putting a motor into the truck that wasn't supposed to be there. So the Cummins goes into the Ford. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold up there, cowpoke. Before this story goes any further forward, we need to back up. We need to back up to the night that the Dodge Ram 2500 showed up. We had to figure out how to get it off of the trailer and come up with a plan to get it into the garage to remove the motor and the other necessary parts. What a night that was. So, all right, you can go right through my dog. I'll stand out there with my septic. You can just back up. So the transporter called me the day that they picked the truck up, and he asked me if I was aware that it didn't have a wheel. And of course I said, of course it has a wheel. It has 3 of them, which he did not find amusing. When the truck got here, it absolutely was going to be a hassle to get it off of the trailer, and that missing wheel, of course, was the main culprit of the problems. I thought for sure that that truck was going to show up with the rear of the truck towards the rear of the trailer. And boy was I surprised when they showed up and it was nose down. So now we have to figure out how to drag that thing nose down off of his trailer and onto our trailer. So of course I started to develop a plan ahead of time in my head that I thought was going to work flawlessly. And that plan was to build a wooden skid to put underneath the lower control arm where the wheel was missing. Perfect, right? It would slide right down his trailer and onto my trailer. With the exception of his trailer was expanded metal, and it cheese grated the wooden skid that I built for under the wheel. For those asking yourself, boy, where could I buy such a lovely vehicle from? I'll tell you, I actually bought it through the insurance crash auctions, the IAAI auctions. The procedure was a little daunting at first. I did end up going through a broker so that I did not have to have a dealer's license, and it opened me up to be able to buy whatever I wanted. The truck that I bought was not the one that I wanted, and did not win it because it did not meet reserve. The truck that I bought was the only one that came up for auction the next day, and I just willy-nilly threw a bid in on it, and I lowballed it, and I won it. And then I realized it didn't have a front driver's wheel. So the broker I ended up going through was Salvage Bid. And this is not a plug for them, nor is it a negative review for them. If you need a broker, they know what they're doing. But I will warn you, and this is with all brokers, there's a lot of fees that go along with it. So if you're going to buy from the insurance auctions, do your research, find yourself a broker, and then it's pretty easy. So before scrubbing the engine block down, and even painting it of course, it's important to get certain things out of the way. I took all of the wiring harness off, which needed to come off anyway to go over to diesel conversion specialists, but also because you don't want to get it gunked up or painted. The transmission, the factory transmission adapter also had to come off, and all sensors and coolant hoses needed to be taped off just to be prepped for paint. So this truck came out of Kansas, and it was used as a ranch or farm truck. So by the time I got it, it had a good 2-inch layer of dirt on, well, everything. So when the motor came out, it definitely needed to be cleaned. Plus, anybody that knows a Cummins engine knows that they have some type of a coating from the factory that begins to bake off and just look awful. So I knew I wanted to clean it up and get some paint on it. So I tried a couple of different options. Of course, brake clean. Brake clean's always an option, but it goes fast and it gets expensive. There's always your engine degreasers, but at $7 a can, that also gets expensive. So on the recommendation of some others, I tried dollar store oven cleaner, and you would be quite surprised with how well this stuff works. I also have this tool right here, which is an air-powered washing gun. I don't even really know what they call it, but it's got an articulating wand in there, and when you apply pressure and soap and water, it actually produces high pressure water or high pressure cleaner, and that actually did a really good job. In fact, you can see some of the remains of what came off of the block. I'll put a link to this from Amazon in the description below. So once the engine was, we'll say, clean, because I didn't disassemble the engine, I taped off the vital parts that I didn't want paint on, things like sensors and fuel lines, and then using a duplicolor engine primer and enamel, I gave it a good coat of primer, let it dry for over 24 hours, and then applied a good coat of paint. So now with the Cummins out of the Dodge and on the floor, it's time to get it prepped for putting into the Ford. but that's for another episode. And speaking of episodes, there's many a Cummins, so make sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss a one. I thank each and every one of you for tuning in. I thank you for watching. But for now, it's time for me to get going. I have places to be.